Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Adam. What's up, Adam?
Not too bad. All right.
All right. So yesterday we did the review of Genesis of the Daleks. It was a long time in coming because people were like, when are you going to do it, Matrixlord? So I finally get it done. And now today we're reviewing Revenge of the Cybermen. Okay?
Yeah.
You want to go first, or?
Yeah, I mean, I do remember that. The first time I saw it was probably when it came out on video. So it would have been about late 80s when I first saw it.
Okay.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it was on the year I was born or the year after. So I didn't see it originally, but I thought it was quite good. I thought it was some interesting.
He had an interesting first season, Tom Baker. I mean, his first season, we had one of the greatest storylines of all, Genesis of the Daleks, within his first season. And then the final episode of the season, we get Revenge of the Cybermen, where the storyline continues, where after we left off, the Doctor, Sarah, and Harry used the time ring to bring them back to the TARDIS. Now, the TARDIS was originally on Space Station Nerva, but they wound up going way in the past, and the time ring was signaling the TARDIS to travel way in the past and catch up with them. And it turned out that it wasn't even a space station. That was like sort of like thousands of years before that. This system was like a Nerva beacon. It was like it had a different purpose, before anybody was in suspended animation. Before they were like, this had a different purpose entirely. And they were on the. They all of a sudden they see all these dead bodies everywhere, and they were like, what the heck is going on here? And the Doctor lets them know, look, the time ring vanished. It's going to bring the TARDIS at some point in time. We're going to get caught up with it, but for now, let's investigate. Let's see what's going on. And it turns out that they had this professor that was sabotaging the crew. Basically helping out the Cybermen. And the Doctor comes, and there's also this virus going on that was created by the Cybermites or whatever, where they bit you and then you had like the veins coming out and you would die. And I guess the whole goal was for the Cybermen to wipe out the majority of the crew with their handful, I guess, to use them for whatever purposes. We also, at the same time, had this asteroid that was actually a place where this other alien race was living, right? It was like a made up of gold, which, as you know, gold is the weakness for the Cybermen. The Cybermen want to wipe them out, get rid of them, because then they won't have that weakness. And, for a while, for many, many, many thousands of years, I guess the Cybermen were quiet. Right away, the humans thought that they were extinct, and the Doctor, of course, is like saying, no, they're not extinct. They're around. I mean, it's just, they're emotionless. They can just chill for thousands of years, build themselves up, and come back. It's not like timing like, us. So, the Doctor figures that out, that because these people keep dying. He tried to save this guy's life. He couldn't. It was too fast. And then he figures it out that it's the professor guy that's sabotaging everything. And then you see that the professor's sending messages to the cyber leader, like, hey, this is what's going on, and making arrangements for the Cybermen to come aboard. Doing whatever he can to assist them. So the Doctor was going to spy on. He saw the professor leave the thing, his quarters. He went in there and he saw all these different things. And he's like, all right, But then the professor came back in. He hid under the bed. The professor set a trap. He left. There was smoke coming up. The floor was electrified. The Doctor had to jump on the bed. While this is going on, Sarah is... the Cybermite bites her on the neck, which means she's going to die very soon. The Doctor figures out a way how to get out of there, and the only way he can save her is to the power of the transmat beam basically would save her. So he enlists Harry to go, and he also fixes the equipment because the guy sabotages that as well. And lo and behold, the guy gets caught, you know, and the doctor, while Sarah gets beamed to the planet with Harry, which is like the asteroid planet, whatever the hell it is, we have the doctor like reprogram the Cybermite to make him think that it's alive, and the guy got scared into giving all the information out, you know. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Cybermen are just. We also have this uprising going on the planet, where this council, like they've been hiding underground for millennia, and this guy that's like with the military, I guess, just like a lot of the episodes back then, he's like a gun-ho guy. I'm tired of this. We're going to kill like the Cybermen once and for all. We're going to blow them up with a rocket. We're going to do this. And of course, you get to see that even though there's conflict, they're like family. So it's like sometimes it was weird where they're shooting at each other, but then the counselor's just like regularly talking to the guy, even if they're shooting at each other. It's like, because it's like ultimately, like, while this is going on, they shouldn't be fighting because they got to deal with, you know, the Cybermen and stuff like that. You know, it's like before your whole civilization's wiped out, are you going to like do that? So there's a lot of screaming going on. There's a lot of, you know, uprising and overthrowing. And the guy that was like from the council, like he was very nice and down to earth and open-minded, I could say. And like originally when Sarah and Harry got captured by the military guy, you know, which I say the military guy, that, you know, it's not like they're dressed differently. They're all dressed like the same. But this guy that's really trying to, you know, make a name for himself, he wanted them executed. They escape, of course. Different things happen. And, of course, things always happen where Harry's hurting his leg or Sarah. They're always getting into trouble. So, you know, eventually they get to be with the council, the good side, and Sarah explains everything. And the guy is like, oh, my God, he's got like a rocket. You know, what's going on? And we find out there was also a secret deal. The guy, Kelman, was a double agent. He was working for the Cybermen, but then he was working for this guy, too. And you never really got to know really whose side was he really on. You know, like, was he really with the Cybermen, but he was having them kill his own people? Or was he with this this race? Or was he just in it for riches? Like, what is it? You know, it's probably that he was looking to make money somehow the best way, and he was using both of them against each other for his own sadistic purposes. I don't see him as a hero or anything because his own people he sacrificed, you know? Yeah. And this happens a lot lately in some of the episodes. We've seen even with Genesis and Daleks, like Davros just sacrificed the Khaleds and teamed with the Thals, and then he killed all the Thals. It's like, and the Mutos and everybody's teaming up against Davros, you know? So I was like, so this is just like, again, the wasted time effort of the infighting going on. I think the asteroid was was it Volgar or Vol something with a V, I think.
It was Volga.
Volga.
Yeah.
So the doctor, the doctor basically, you know, he goes through a lot. He gets blasted by the Cybermen, and they stun him, and he gets to figure out their plans. There's a whole bunch of things going on through the thing. What did you like about it the most? I don't like to keep talking because I want to give you a chance.
It was quite good. I like the whole, the whole thing about Voga. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And there was a bit in the Voga where they had the seal of Rassilon in their chamber. For I just was reusing a set. But I thought it was quite nice because I've been to the place where it's filmed.
Oh, did you?
That's it's in, I believe it's in Somerset in the south of England. So I've been there for a long time ago. That's quite good. And I quite liked the Harry Sullivan is an imbecile line. That was a good line. And I thought, I thought the ending episode ending where Sarah got kicked by the side back was quite good. Yeah. Even though she was sort of clutching it to her neck, but you know, I think the idea was there, but it looked pretty good.
You got to see how strong they are too, because the Cybermen immediately like killing everybody, and then they put the bomb set to the doctor, and to the two other guys, and they said if you try to move it, it's gonna, you're gonna blow up.
Yeah. It's quite tense, that scene was.
Yeah, it was.
They were just about to crash into the moon, into the planet. That was pretty.
The doc had a good speech. I'm trying to remember what he said. He's like, "You don't got a planet. You got nothing." It's like he's standing there like yelling at them, like, you're not gonna win, like whatever, like these people are gonna. Yeah. But it was really good that. Like, there's a lot of times where at least it wasn't like a thing where they were doing it easy. A lot of times they were, the Cybermen's like beating up the doctor or grabbing Sarah and him on the shoulders, like, all right, I mean, they went back down to, the Cybermen wanted them to blow up because they don't want the rocket to hit, what I'm saying? They had a rocket that they wanted to aim at the space station or whatever. There's ulterior plans. Like, they wanted to kill all the humans in there, the Cybermen there, they wanted to kill them too. What I found very confusing, though, is the fact that the aliens were shooting at the Cybermen, and their weapons were ineffective. Yeah. But they know that gold destroys them. So grab some gold dust, whatever, make a spear out of it, or throw it in their face, or shove it in there. Just take your hand and go to the dirt. It's all gold. So I didn't understand how they knew the weakness of the Cybermen.
Did people know gold was deadly to Cybermen? Didn't they?
Did they know that? I thought that they knew that.
No, because this was. I'm not sure they did. I think that was.
Because even the doctor knew it. But then I'm like, why are we wasting time here? Why don't he just grab a thing and then shove it down? Because I mean, remember. That was the thing I didn't understand. They had the greatest weakness to the Cybermen, and they could kill them.
Yeah, unless they didn't think about that when they wrote it.
And also, I didn't understand too. What's the purpose of blowing up the planet if all the gold, like the whole thing is made of gold, right?
Yeah.
And let's say like Superman, and that would be kryptonite, right? You know that your biggest weakness is in one area. Like this area. Why don't you just send Cybermen down to kill the whole race and just leave the planet there? Because if you blow it up, you're going to splinter gold all throughout the galaxy. And even if like the alien scrapyard has gold, they're always going to use it. Something could come up where all that gold was spread everywhere. And that people could use that to kill the Cybermen. So if you know your biggest weakness is in this area, just leave it there. Just make it that nobody's on the planet and just leave it there. Because if you blow it up, I mean, this is what I was thinking. I'm like, if you blow it up, it goes everywhere. So you create a mess for yourself in the future. Because there'll be pieces everywhere. And if you have like people that get space junk or whatever, I'm sure there's like people in space and they collect all this stuff and they sell stuff and here's how you kill Cybermen. Even Dorian Moldovar, he had all these different relics and stuff and the choir and stuff. And they could do themselves in by having their weakness spread out. That's what I would think. But anyway,
the thing is, though, it's like you're looking at stuff later on.
Yeah, but again, when I was a kid, I didn't put that together. When I saw this, I was just like, "Oh, this is so cool!" It's like. You see them, and I'm like, oh my God, the doctor's getting his shoulder, and Sarah, like, choke. You see the thing where the boulders fall, and the doctor gets hurt, and I'm like, oh my God. And then Harry almost killed the doctor because he's trying to get him out of the thing. And then the guy had to say, no, don't do that because you'll kill him. Yeah. The other guy sacrificed himself to kill all the Cybermen. He blew himself up. So, it was... And ultimately, that whole guy that was trying to make a name for himself and almost sell his own people out, kind of. I mean, not that he wanted to sell his people out, but he wanted to get a jump start on wiping out the Cybermen and the humans. He don't care about any of them. And he wound up dying in the end anyway. That guy and all his people, like all his faction. So I just didn't get it why they just didn't grab the gold and just use it anyway. Well, the doctor took the gold, he put it in the Cybermite, when he got back on there, and the Cybermite was killing the Cybermen.
Yeah.
Because it's gold dust. So if it's dust, you take the thing, you throw it out, they're dead, or they're hurt, or whatever. All your weapons are all across the ground. Use it. I mean, that common sense is now for me. Like, I just don't get it. But you don't need. What do you need this fancy gun that doesn't work? If it doesn't work the first 20 minutes of the show, and they're like, eating it, and it's like they're just standing there like this, then pick up the damn whatever. I don't know. But anyway, it was a good episode. Of course, it's not. Genesis of Dalek was like, of that season, that was like, Genesis of Dalek was my favorite, But
it's not a bad one.
It was a good episode. It was a good episode.
Robot was quite good. Robot was good.
Yes.
I think Arca Space is a classic.
Yeah, I like that too.
It goes.
Suntaran was fast. It was short.
It's probably.
It was a short episode, yeah. What was weird, it's then you kind of figured they shortened that episode, but they made the Genesis 6 parts. It's like big. I did like it, and I liked the resolution. And watching this again after a couple of years, like, because I watch it every now and then, I started getting ideas, like all these cool things they could do with the Cybermen and the Daleks and future, with Jodie Whittaker and 13 Doctor. I mean, there's so much potential that they could do with them. They don't have to do a regular episode where there's like a million Cybermen fighting. You could have a story where one Cyberman gets separated from the fleet, and he's trying to get back to the fleet, and he's doing whatever he can to upgrade. And something could happen where he kills a Dalek and he makes himself like Dalek armor or something to survive. And you can get this one Cyberman that's completely different from the other Cybermen, and he's sort of like the lone Cyberman or something. It could be like a weird storyline where the Doctor is only up against one Cyberman. And this guy keeps coming. And he keeps making himself like he's not connected to the other Cybermen. He's making himself different, like each time, because he lost an arm. Okay, so now he had to make himself some type of Dalek arm or whatever scraps he's having. And he's going throughout the season fighting the Doctor, like just being different. It could be, a different type, a different take. And you could show how deadly the Cybermen are. Just like the Dalek episode, they did that with Christopher Eccleston. And you got to see how badass the Daleks were, just one of them. So just imagine if they just focused on one Cyberman and just seeing how much trouble that one Cyberman would cause, I would think that would be fantastic.
I think it would. I think it would be quite interesting.
Even if if I wrote that, even if they had, like, well, what happened to all of Davros's other experiments? It's like the Daleks were Mark III. Where's Mark II and where's Mark I? I was saying this the other night. I said, is Colony Sarp, the snake creature, was he a Davros experiment?
Yeah.
Because he's like the bodyguard, he was. So was he one of the experiments before the Daleks that he just, kept on?
They're not addressed, have they? So you never
know. But it would be interesting if they just explored, because he said he was working on animals, and different things. So what if there's stuff going on that he creates something else other than the Daleks, or even the Cybermen? There's different factions, maybe. There was the faction that was in the alternate reality. Now I know they're all together now, but what if there was, we saw the Mondazian Cybermen in the finale. What if there's other type of Cybermen, like say from the Silver Nemesis or something, like other factions that are just not connected to each other and they're just off doing their thing. It'll be interesting.
Cyber history did confuse me a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I read the Cyberman book David Banks read. That helped a little bit.
The way I like to think of it is that the Cybermen somehow sent information from the Doctor's universe to that universe. The guy got it. He thought he thought it up himself. He built them that way. And there weren't really an alternate reality Cybermen. They were really, because even the Daleks in the Ninth Doctor's time, they were trying to travel through the void. They were trying to go to another universe to survive because it was the Time War, and they're like, let's get the hell out of here. There was like some faction, remember? The cult of Skaro. So they were just traveling through the void trying to get to another universe. So what if the Cybermen said, hey, look, let's just say this universe, we can't do anything. Let's put all our plans, sort of like when the Earth, they send out the Voyager probe and they put the blood in there and the records and our history and all the stuff for aliens to see in the future. The Cybermen did the same thing. It went through a wormhole and went to another universe. And the guy Lumic thought he invented the Cybermen. So that's what I would do, and I kind of feel that's why you could say that those Cybermen are the same as the Mondasian Cybermen, because maybe they just spread their influence to another universe. Now they came back and they're welcomely accepted because they did that in the first place. But it'll be nice to explain things once in a while, rather than just us assume why these guys here. Are they going to fight each other? Or like what, Because right away I assumed that, there's going to be a civil war of Cybermen because they're going to be ones from the other universe. No, they joined together. It was just like, all right, So
it was convenient,
yeah.
Definitely.
What do you feel about the Cybermen? Like growing up, like when you used to watch it on TV. I mean, were they one of your top favorites?
I think they probably were. Yeah, because I think they were. Because they sort of. When I was a kid, I was there were quite a few stories because they had what? They had Earthshock, and they had Attack of the Cybermen. So I quite enjoyed them. Yeah, there was quite a few when I was growing up. I thought they were different. Yeah. I
think Earthshock did it for me because that right away showed how terrifying that the Cybermen were. Because they're responsible for Adric dying. Like they are responsible, and Adric dies, and it's like that was a massive story. With at the end credits, it was all black. There was no music. It was like. They actually went there and they killed the companion, never came back, And even when we saw later episodes of Cybermen where you got to see the horrors, like the Colin Baker one where the guy is being turned into a Cyberman. Yeah. Can't reverse it. Can't do nothing about it. The guy is just pieces and getting turned. It was terrifying. It was dark.
So that was just what probably were as tough though, because I used to dispatch quite a few with a catapult. I mean, that was like the anniversary thing that they had, and they were building that up as it was an anniversary episode. But it was cool that they continued with Sylvester McCoy, that something was going on where the villains knew him as the Doctor. Yeah. And his own people didn't know him. It's like he was part of some villain club, like he was a villain himself. It was weird. It was just like, like before the Dark Times and the ancient times of the Time Lords, and he was like, they had those couple episodes where like, are they going to reveal who the Doctor is, the Seventh Doctor? It's like, because in Curse of Fenric, the guy's playing with him. He's like, they know who he is. It was weird, and I was like, oh, that was a cool element if they would explore that more. Even some of Nemesis, they knew who he was. It was like, oh, that's crazy, Yeah.
So, but Cybermen, it's up and down, I feel. I mean, they'll just do stuff to just put them in there, and there's no purpose. It's just, like, when Missy used them, it's like, it kind of makes them, like, stupid and not important like they are, like a joke. But then they'll do the finale with Peter Capaldi, and like, wow, they're great. Like the Cybermen are big, they're, so it's just, I want them to use them properly. If you're going to use the Cybermen, don't just put them in there for like filler or whatever, like making it like Missy's pets or something. I mean, really like show how terrifying they are. I didn't like them in Nightmare in Silver because I felt, I don't care how old he was, the Doctor, he would not have children sleep next to a dormant, Cyberman that's deactivated. Because what if you would remember his companion died. I didn't get that. I mean, I didn't get Moffat's take on it because I'm like, I mean, Neil Gaiman wrote it, but then the script got lost, and Moffat had to help him, and then it was a Moffat. Didn't really get credit for it, but he was like, it was Moffat's influence with Gaiman's, and it wasn't really Neil Gaiman completely, And I was like, oh, what the hell is this about the Cybermen and making it like a Harry Potter weird amusement, weird. It was just I didn't like that because then if every Cyberman ran like the Flash and had super speed, they would never defeat them ever. Like, how does that one Cyberman do it, but then all of them can't? I was like, come on. So I liked Mr. Clever. I liked that. And I liked the fact that the Doctor erased everybody's memory of him, from the idea he got from Oswin, who did it for him originally in Asylum. He's like, let me just repeat that. But Mr. Clever was good. I would love to see Matt Smith return as like Cyber Lead, like Mr. Clever or Cyber, just to be a bad guy. That would be cool, But going forward, we got a lot to look forward to with Doctor Who. On the Real Whovians cast, we're going to try to do as many reviews as whenever the time allows, when we can. We're going to try to do reviews, and then we're going to do our Doctor Who news. And right now, it's few and far between. This is the Real Whovians cast 1200th episode that we got of the Real Whovians cast right now. And we're going to have many, many more, and we're going to try to, I don't always have time to do these things like for the classic episodes, but, at least you get them here and there from different people like me and Adam today and me and Scott yesterday. And later, I don't know, who's going to do what. And we have a lot of different members. So I enjoy talking about Doctor Who. Doctor Who is always going to be my favorite. And I got my little Tom Baker thing here.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
The keychain here.
Yeah.
What do you think of, you ready for Jodie Whittaker to take over? Are you upset that Capaldi's leaving?
Well, I want Capaldi to stay, but I quite like new things. I quite looking forward to it. I think it'd be good.
Yeah.
I didn't like Tennant. I wanted Tennant to go straight away. But, but I enjoy it in a way. But, I'd like to see Capaldi stay, but, he's obviously, not meant to be. So he's obviously not meant to, so try something different.
Who do you think is the villain of the Christmas special? Somebody new, you think, or?
No, that's difficult to say. I wouldn't have thought. I don't know. It's difficult to say, really. I can't gauge it, really.
Yeah. From the clips, there's some creature that's traveling after them through time, he said, or something like that. I don't know what that means.
The Doctor regenerated the first time. I don't know.
I know Clara's supposed to be in it.
She'll probably do a cameo like Amy Pond at the end of Matt Smith.
Bill is in it. I heard Nardole may be in it. I heard Missy may be in it, maybe in his head. I don't know. And then Nardole, the guy Matt Lucas, said something like he's not done with Doctor Who, which means that he may return with Jodie Whittaker at some point.
Yeah, there's lots of rumours. It's difficult to say, really. I tend to avoid rumours where possible. I read them on the internet. I see them on Facebook.
I like to, it's fun to get everybody together to speculate because when you get people, just first of all, Doctor Who never had this type of promotion where all the fans are promoting it like it did back in the day. If it did, it probably wouldn't have got canceled in the first place. If we had the internet, we had people, doing like petition letters and what I'm saying? Like, I like right now, there's so many people doing podcasts and videos, and they make compilations of music to Doctor Who, and there's such a huge support for Doctor Who right now. And it's like, had we had that back then, things would probably would have been completely different. And I think that a lot of times they don't advertise because they're like, well, we got all these people to advertise for. There's Facebook fan pages, there's groups, there's sites. I try to run like over, I think 7 of them or 8 of them. And it's like, of my own, and then I help someone with his. Like, it's just a huge, huge thing. 54 years of Doctor Who, November 23rd. That's a long time, But I look forward to seeing Capaldi's last. I look forward to I'll check out Jodie Whittaker. Again, you're not going to always get what you want. But you know what? You got to go with the punches. You got to roll with it. And Maybe she'll turn out to be one of my favorite doctors. Who knows? Never know.
I mean, you don't know until you watch it. You know, you don't know until you watch it. I think. I mean, you might not like it. You don't, like you said, you don't get what you want all the time. So
yeah,
and there's always something else to watch. Yeah. I mean,
no, there's a lot of stuff out there. I know.
I don't really like it, but so that's the way I look at it. But,
yeah. Who would you, if you were the showrunner, and you had to decide what the 13th Doctor is going to face? Would you throw everything at her in her first season? Like, would you have her face the Cybermen, the Daleks?
I think it might be better to just. I think the problem is if you threw everything at it, it didn't work. Then sort of, people would say, well, they had all the best villains and stuff. So maybe it's best to try something different.
Because the way I look at it, if the ratings are dropping, and besides making that change, they want to do something different, wouldn't they have to throw something massive in the first season of hers to people be like, wow, she fought Davros in episode 1. Holy, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, they might do it in the finale, or they might have an overarching plot.
Yeah. So you
have the Daleks.
You think the Daleks, right, are going to appear, obviously?
I think they generally do, don't they? I think most people, think of the Daleks that's probably the most logical solution. But, it depends how they use them.
Do you think the Cybermen should have a break?
They have used them quite a bit lately, haven't they? I mean, they're bringing the end of this finale, so maybe another year or so, maybe.
Yeah, give them a break.
So, yeah.
Would you bring back, like, any of the old favorites, or would you rather have new villains?
I like having new ones. I wouldn't mind some of the old ones they've used before. They've had the Ice Warriors again, so,
I like the Ice Warriors.
Yeah.
I would like them to use them more often.
Yeah. Maybe
I would like them to bring back the Centaurans, but, like, maybe a different clone batch. Like taller, maybe even. Like a 7-foot Centauran or something. Or smarter.
Yeah. Anything different as well. Anything now that maybe some, I can't think off the top of my head, but there's probably some
Sea Devils.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like the Headless Monks. We got to see them once.
Yeah, Sea Devils will be good.
The Silence. I mean, that's new villains, but they've been around for a couple of years. I would like to see the Silence. Weeping Angels. I mean, the Draconians.
Yeah.
Silurians. I mean, I don't want these guys to become good guys. I kind of want them to be the factions that remain. Like the Silurians to be all good now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm crazy about that. But maybe even the Paternoster gang can help out Jodie Whittaker. Who knows, or something.
Well, that might work. Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Or River Song popping in every now and then. That'd be cool too. You like River or no?
Yeah, quite a lot. I do like. Yeah, I liked her. I thought she was interesting at first, and I thought she worked. Yeah, I think she's quite good. Although maybe I think they've probably done too much now. I think they've gone too far for it. So we've had a nice ending in that Christmas special.
Yeah, that was nice.
Now she says maybe she's leaving for the audience for the time being.
What do you think about Murray Gold leaving and then getting a different music composer?
I think tomorrow that's probably about time. He's doing it for a long time now. It might be nice to, because this is a bit samey in the music in general.
Do you think Mark Gatiss, they should get Mark Gatiss to still write for them, or just get old new writers?
I think they'll get new writers this year to start with. I think.
We heard that, and it was very interesting. I find it more interesting than usual that Russell T. Davies and Moffat are not entirely letting Doctor Who go. It's like, after all these years, Russell T. Davies is writing books on Doctor Who. Like, he's going to be doing adaptions of his stuff as well as other things. So is Moffat. So I find that really interesting and hopeful that maybe they can get out of their rules and maybe just have fun with it again and just write an episode for someone else. Like Moffat, when Moffat worked under Russell T. Davies, that was his best work. If Moffat wrote a story for Chibnall, that might be the greatest thing ever. Same thing like Russell T. Davies. Why does it have to be rules and egos? You love the show, just write for it. Who cares? That, but to me, it gets with them, it's like, oh, you know, Moffat doesn't. Oh, I can't work under anybody else anymore. I was a show. Like that's stupid. You know, if Russell T Davies don't care, he's going to do it. Who cares? You know, it's like, just if you love Doctor Who that much and you want to write for it still, just do it. That's the way I feel. I would, if I was a writer, I would never be able to give it up, ever.
Yeah.
I would always want to be part of it somehow. I would never close the door. So, we shall see. But it's been a pleasure, Adam. Thank you.
No problem. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye for now.